All right, I am back. I'm laying down, so I'm professional, but I'm cramping so badly right now. Like, so badly. What I do to deserve this? I don't know. Probably karma. Who knows? But, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Elle. I mentioned Elle in my boyfriend story. I mentioned Elle in one of my friend's stories. I'm gonna talk about Elle because I just don't like Elle. Strongly dislike Elle. I mean, I don't care for her. But this one's gonna be about her. Cause that shit did. Okay. I I don't okay, so I never knew of Elle until 2019. I met Elle in 2019. Supposedly she was around, Ma, I guess. But I don't recall, maybe because we're two different ages and I wasn't in her friend group, so maybe I didn't know her. But I met her in 2019. The first time I met her, she was hanging with my cousin, Medina. Um, she was hanging with Medina, and that's how I met her at my old crib before Bellevue. So, the second time I believe I met her was when my lease for the first place I was staying at was up. That's how I met her, and that's like the second time I met her, I believe. And I had asked her if I could like stay with her for a little bit before I move out of state. I was getting ready to travel. That's a story for another time. So I could talk about what I did while I was traveling. Anywho, I stayed with her at her old crib when she lived out west just for a little bit. I was with my one cat, Max. I love that boy. I'm glad I gave him up for adoption. But I was moving. I didn't need anything. I was going through some things with family again. So for another time. Um, I was staying with Elle, and I remember, she welcomed me so peacefully. But she always had this vibe where she just didn't like people. She just gave off weird vibes after a little while, and I just couldn't wait to leave and go out of state. So I kind of like held my breath and just kind of chilled with her for a little bit. She was telling me about how she was pregnant and stuff, and I guess there was this one time where I was at Elle's crib and stuff, and I was hungry, haven't eaten. Like, it's just me. I barely go to my parents' crib because how they feel about me. Anyways, ignore the background noises. So I decided to eat some. I think it was mozzarella sticks. That's what I ate. Or every now and then I'll go in the fridge looking for food and I will just grab something to eat. Now, I honestly felt welcomed, so I just kind of ate something, and I guess my bad. I didn't realize that she didn't want nobody touching her food. I didn't. I guess people are not like me because if you're at my house and you go to my fridge to grab something, I don't care for it. But Ellen, her pregnancy is a whole different story. Um, Supposedly she was pregnant. So, anyways, I decided to just make myself comfortable, and yeah, I ate some food. I didn't even eat that much, but I ate something. But apparently, she didn't even like me touching her food, and she never said don't touch my food either. So I didn't even know she didn't like that. But anyways, later on, I just kind of like packed my stuff and I decided to not move, but I went to visit Milwaukee. That was the first state I went to visit. So I left her house. But anywho, later on I find out from, oh my gosh, I think it was Medina. If I'm wrong, one day she can correct it. But in my mind right now, I'm thinking it's Medina telling me how she felt because me and Medina are close. Like I said, she's my cousin. And she's like, oh, by the way, by the way, Elle said that she just didn't like how she ate up all your food. Hold on. Um, it wasn't Medina who told me. It wasn't Medina who told me. I just remember right now. Like I said, I don't want to lie. I don't want to tell a fib. It was her ex-husband. Uh, he will come out, but he's the one that told me. But he told me like later on. But anyways, that's what she had said. But I never knew this until later on. So I guess I'm gonna cut that short. I meet Elle again when I come back to Omaha, and I was staying in Bellevue at this time. So what happened was Elle had moved to New York with her boo thing. And when she moved to New York with her boo thing, I guess they got into it or whatever. The relationship was toxic. Elle is toxic. Elle been toxic. Elle is a super definition of toxicity. Like, toxic as hell. And I think she's the type of person, I think. Remember I said I think. I think she's the type of person who creates chaos to get, like, she gets off of it, basically. Anyways, she ends up calling me. Mind you, at this time, I'm chilling, I'm in Bellevue. And she gives me a phone call and she's like, hey, um, I have this situation going on with my boo thing and I need to get away. I'm currently homeless. I got nowhere to go. She was staying at a shelter. And me being me, of course. And then I was like, oh, cool, I'll help you because you helped me. See, lend a hand. I'll lend a hand. That's exactly what I did because of what she did in 2019. So, I guess over there, they figure her situation out. They get her tickets to come to Omaha. She gets on a plane. She comes to Omaha. And then me and I think it was either um, I think Deja or one of my cousins, we went to go pick her up. I don't think, I think it was Deja, because I remember Deja saying, I don't want to go over there and pick her up, because Deja just didn't like her. So there's that. And I went to pick her up with her cats, and we come to my crib. She makes herself comfortable. I still got videos. I don't delete anything. I keep everything in my phone. So she come to my crib. I make her feel comfortable. I tell her you can eat whatever you want. Feel free, like, the whole deal. So me and her start like getting close, like friendships, doing makeup, going out, just chilling. And then I end up telling her like, hey, you should get a job. Everybody's working. Maybe one day we could go travel. That was the plan that we had for the three amigos, me, Deja, and of course Elle. Again, I changed the names of these people mainly because I don't want y'all to think they are weird or search them up. And it doesn't matter to me either or if they ever get this. I really don't care. I don't. I'm just changing the names in case they feel embarrassed that I even mentioned their relationships with me. Yeah. But anywho, back to Elle Raggedy Ass. Okay. So I'm so sorry for the way I talk. Sometimes I do smack my lips. I'm so sorry in advance. I apologize to everybody. I'm so unprofessional. I'm sorry for a habit. Elle gets a job or whatever. And then I remember Elle's ex-boo thing ends up calling and saying that he's going through some stuff. He wanted to see Elle. Supposedly him and Elle were having a hard time and that he was violent, as Elle said, but he really didn't seem like he was. So I was like, hey, we should help him out so he can come here. He's your husband after all. She was like, nah, I'm good, etc. But it's like what I didn't know, what Deja didn't know was that Elle was telling him to actually come to Bellevue. But Elle was telling us she didn't want him here. So it was like, but anyways, Elle's husband ends up getting himself from New York and coming to Bellevue. He didn't come to Bellevue supposedly, but his stop was Iowa. And in Iowa, he was just stuck in a very rural place, like a very, like, I was weird. It's very empty. The part he was at was actually very empty. So he was stuck over there. He was literally living in a tent with all of his things. He had a bike he used to ride around. He got himself a job around there, and he has to hitch a ride from other people to go work, just trying to get himself together. Like, he really been through a lot. He really been through a lot. But then again, his story is a story for another time. I don't even know if I want to tell my story with him. Anyways, after a little while of him being homeless, and Elle knows this, I talk to Elle trying to figure out how we're gonna help him out, because you don't leave people stranded outside. That was my goal. That was my saying. So there's that. Remember, I help people. So Elle agrees. It was me and Elle and this one girl that had came to Omaha to visit someone else, but then she decided to run around and end up staying on my crib for like a little while before she had left. But her story is another one for another time. That girl was so weird. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm meeting terrible people. But anyways, so me and Elle and this girl and her son, we get in my car and we go all the way out to Iowa. I think it was like a 35-minute drive. I think it was a bit far. It was like going out of state basically. So we go there, we look for him everywhere, and then we found him like sleeping on a bench, and we get him. He seemed very it's like weight was lifted off his shoulders when we arrived. He comes in with his I think his some of his stuff, and it was like he was sitting in the back or in the front. He was sitting in the back with Elle, and in the car as we're in there, he was just talking about how Elle did him wrong. Basically, the conversation was like him trying to put Elle in her place. And from the way he was talking, you could tell that Elle was practically doing some things to just get at him. And then I just asked everybody to be quiet, and then Elle also asked him to be quiet, so everything was quiet down. We come back home, everybody was asleep. And then one day I go to work, and the girl that I mentioned with the baby boy, the extra leech that was with us, she ended up leaving. I have to come back to her. I cannot stand that girl. But anyways, I go to work. When I come back, that girl's gone. And then Elle and her boo thing was always at my crib. One day I go to work. Not work. I had left to go to California. I was hoping I would not tell this California story, but that's a story for another time. It's included. The California story plays a part in my life. I'm going to talk about it later, but I ended up going to Cali. And then when I was in Cali, can't say everything that happened in Cali, but I went to Cali, and then I ended up getting a phone call. And it's Elle telling me, hey, I'm in the closet with a knife. I locked your apartment door, and my boo thing trying to kill me. And I'm like, huh? She was like, he's trying to kill me. Like, you should have never invited him here. And I'm like, what? And she was like, please, like, I don't want him here. And I'm like, call the police and tell them what's happening. I'm not there. I can't help you. I don't know what to do. I was freaking out, and I felt so bad because, like, I felt like, damn, I put her in a very bad situation. I should have never done that. Like, I was filled with regret, and I was far away, and Elle wasn't on my lease. She was just staying there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I effed myself over for what? But yeah, I suggested to call the police, and the police arrive and they arrest the husband. And then I was on the phone with the husband and the police. The police allowed the husband to make a phone call to me because they were wondering how he got there. And I was telling the police that I allowed him there. And they're like, oh, okay. And then the husband was like, I told Elle to give me my charger for my phone so I could leave. And she just locked the door on me. That's not right. I just wanted my charger. And I was like, but she's saying that you're knocking on the door super hard and you're trying to uh, kill her. And then he was like, it's not even like that. I kept telling him multiple times, just give me my charger. And I was like, okay. But anyways, that happened. And then the police took him. He was banned and barred from the area. And then he ended up being in jail. And then I came back and I was okay. And I apologized to her for letting all that mess happen. And then I realized that there are times where she was actually talking to him while he was locked up too. So there is that. Um, that's how. Remember how I was talking about my BF? My BF starts to play a role in as my ex. My bad. Sometimes I forget I'm single, but at that time, Davion, Elle started, at a job. She met Davion, so her and Davion was like kicking it off or whatever. Me, I didn't care. I personally didn't care. She was doing her thing. And what else happened with Elle? There was times where Elle didn't like me hanging with Deja. Elle would get very jealous of Deja all the time. Like, all the time, 24/7. She would say that Deja is trying to hop on every man. Whenever a man was over, she just didn't like how Deja was acting, and Deja was good looking. I mean, Deja was good looking, so she just was like, yeah, she's hugging all the men, and it's like, what? And mind you, Deja is a close family, so it's like, why are you jealous of Deja? She can't go nowhere. I'm helping Deja like I'm helping you. Like, what's the difference? What do you want me to do about it? Like, come on. And then, there are also times where she would feel like Deja was trying to sleep with one of her dudes. Oh my god. And it's like, why don't you just leave Deja out of it? She put me in a very hot, like, bad spot because it's like I had to choose between them two. And it's like, it's my crib. You guys stay with me. I don't want to choose sides. That's what I was thinking in my head most of the time. And I did mention it once or twice, but I just didn't want to involve myself like that. But it don't matter. I was involved regardless. Like, people are paying attention to the decisions that I make. And I'm not aware that they're paying attention, but they was because energy was always shifting around me, Deja, and Elle. So again, with Elle's situation, she had decided to invite Davion's cousin over without my knowledge, and she thought she could because I told her, make yourself at home, and I just kind of was like, just to me, it was like, just because I said make yourself at home doesn't mean invite a man randomly. Like, huh? Like, come on, like, come on, do better. And then we get into altercation about that, and then she gets upset because of what I said, and there goes that. And then she goes to see Davion's cousin behind Davion's back, of course. And we honestly did not really care. Really, we didn't. We just knew where she was, and sometimes she makes it obvious where she was. To continue, when the little whole Davion and his cousin scandal passed, she had a new buddy of hers. And this buddy of hers was constantly at my crib. So there are times where her little buddy would kind of be flirtatious with Deja, but Deja would know what he's doing, so Deja wouldn't really entertain it. But regardless whether Deja entertained it or not, which she didn't, but regardless, Elle gave a fuck, obviously. And Elle would just talk about it behind Deja's back, but never in front of Deja. And I had to be the sole witness to that. Like, she put me in very tough spots. Like, we stayed together, and I am not a type of person to literally sit there before, not now, to really sit there and just be like, you should have, like, just basically fighting. Like, I wasn't into fighting. Like, I was the type of person to, like, literally not say nothing. I keep things to myself unless I'm brought up. So I just, whatever I see, I usually always kept it to myself, because it's none of my business unless I'm brought in. That's just how I viewed it. So, but Deja ends up, catching on to Elle being weird. So she's like, I just don't like that girl's energy. Like, I just don't care about that girl at all. Like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to be around her. Just cut it off. And I was having a hard time cutting Elle off because Elle got nowhere to go except me. I was helping Elle out. So do I leave Elle stranded? Because me and Elle, we weren't having beef, but I just knew Elle was a little bit, I don't know, something was just off. Anywho, to continue, um, there was a time where we went out of state for a wedding, Kentucky, I believe. I think some people remember that, some people don't. We went there. It was me, Elle, Deja, and a family member and her baby daddy, I believe. No, it was me, Elle, Deja, and a cousin of mine. Yeah, we went together. While we was there, what happened there was I ended up being in a hotel room with this one guy, and Elle was there, I believe, I think, or she wasn't. I quite don't remember. I think she was there. But anyways, I was chilling with this guy in the hotel, right? Like, I was just there having a good time. So I ended up going to sleep. Mind you, I was literally cuddled up with this guy, asleep, unaware. And then Elle decides, I'm gonna take a picture while nobody sees that I'm taking a picture. So Elle takes a photo. I'm so glad that she was off of it, because after she took it and everybody's woken up, she was like, oh, look, you guys are so cute together. I took a picture. In my head, I'm like, what? So, anyways, I was like, let me see. And I do see the photo, and I'm like, no, delete it. And she was like, but y'all cute. And I was like, no, delete it. She was like, okay, I'm going to delete it. And although she pretended like she deleted it, just something in my head was like, it's not deleted. That photo is not deleted. But somehow I just kind of like forgot about that incident. And then we come back home. Mind you, this whole photo situation is gonna come back up. So we come back home, we're chilling or whatever, and then Davion pops up. I think this is like the second or third time she meets up with Davion, but this time it's like it was when she invited him over, and there was like two other guys there and Davion and her little buddy I was talking about earlier. He had left already, so she had already had a little links. She had her little links lined up, and it's like, okay. So we was chilling at my crib. Again, I was weird and quiet and always in a corner somewhere, just vibing on my own because, insecurities. I didn't feel beautiful or noticed. I just kind of kept it to myself. Anyways, that's how that happened. So Elle ends up meeting this Arabian boy. To her, he was like beautiful, mind you. No, she had already met him when the whole Davion situation happened. And if you think I'm lying that she did not invite two other guys over, she herself had posted on FB recently proving my point, saying that she once had three dudes together in one place, and she's talking about my crib, and I'm just like, okay, okay, thought of Miss Prime, I got you. But anyways, back to the story. I don't know why I went all the way into the future for. Um, her little new toy, she let all those other ones go. Her little new toy was, oh my gosh, she was so problematic and jealous. And to be honest, me and Elle, okay, so before, hold on, no, I'm actually telling the story right. Got it. So, fast forward. Um, Elle's new toy ends up being her BF. So again, we do not tell her. Not even we didn't have to tell her BF anything. He knew that. He knew that. He said he was into the type of girl that wants that other men find attractive or want. He was into it. So we don't have to really tell him anything. He knew what the fuck he wanted. So, oh boy, apparently had known Deja before. And it's like, I didn't know that he knew Deja before, but and then again, I found out that he actually knew Deja before. And the only reason that Elle met, what should we name him? Um, uh, what's a good Arab name? We're gonna call him Zayn. He's not as hot as Zayn, but we're gonna call him Zayn. So the only reason why Zayn and Elle met is because Deja introduced them. Deja brought Zayn over to do Elle's. Uh, okay, Deja invited Elle to do a friend of Zayn's henna. That's how everybody ended up meeting. And then I guess things kicked off from there. Jesus Christ. But, anyways, to continue, Elle was jealous of Deja once she found out that Deja knew Zayn before. Like the jealousy was like through the roof. Through the roof. Mind you, what I'm talking about Deja is like during the phases where Deja was going through with her husband and her all the other stuff I already talked about. But anyways, the jealous, mind you, Deja's husband wasn't there yet. So this was before Deja's husband had returned. This is the second trip before I went to go get Deja because she ended up going somewhere later. Okay, later on, Deja ends up going out of state. But before Deja went out of state, the jealousy Elle had for Deja was too much. And I had to sit there and play a part in choosing sides. And I don't do that. I don't want to choose sides. I don't want to choose sides. So I'm not Deja. So Elle sometimes just gets mad at me for no damn reason, and I just sometimes just be quiet. And Animosity is there, nobody talks to each other, and I'm just like, this is exhausting. Like, why are we doing this? Like, come on, way too early. And then after Deja leaves to Texas, as I told you before, remember when I said Deja goes to Texas, and later on I ended up going to pick up Deja with Elle. So, anyways, Deja ends up going to Texas, and I'm stuck with Elle. So me and Elle get a little bit closer. We get a job together, but soon or later, Elle starts getting jealous of me because of the fact that my bad. My bad. Elle starts getting jealous of me because of the fact that sometimes Zayn would be getting too comfortable. It's not that I allow it, it's just the fact, it's just how he is. And at first, I really didn't say anything. And I felt like if I said anything, I would look like I am the bad guy. So I said nothing. But then again, I was like, say something, because why would you be with somebody that's so comfortable doing something like that with your friend? So I was like, I should probably tell her. And I was like, maybe you shouldn't, because she seems like she's still in love. So don't say nothing and let her have a little happiness. So sometimes I said nothing. And mind you, Zayn sometimes just, he was just, Zayn was the type of guy to, he's very flirtatious. I'm going to say that. um Very flirtatious, extremely flirtatious, for no damn reason, because he shouldn't be doing that at that age. Like, boy, sit your butt down somewhere, like, for real. Like, how? Anyways, when I me and Elle ended up saving up money to buy a new car because the other one was messed up. So after we got the car, Zayn tells Elle, like, hey, it's a bad idea, don't get a car with Nina. And I'm like, like, I didn't even know that. The story will come up how I found out. But eventually, we get the car, we have it for a little bit, and we also, no, yeah, we got the car. Everybody's hanging out for like a little while. And then, what had happened was, Elle had went to the dealership without my knowledge, without telling me, and she told the dealership that she wanted her half of the money back. And I didn't even know that she said that. So then again, the dealership ends up calling me. So I guess she thought they wouldn't, but the dealership ends up calling me. They're like, hey, we want to take the car back because it's what your friend said. And I'm like, what are you talking about? When did she do that? And they're like, this morning. I was like, okay, cool. So then, without telling Elle that the dealership called me, I told Elle, like, why did you call the dealership and said that you wanted your money back? What happened? The way she was shook on how I even found out, like, this one girl, I'm gonna change her name too. I have a story for her too. This one girl was just standing there, like, looking at both of us. She's like, "Oop, it's my cue to leave," because it was just ridiculous. And then, because me, I'm stressed out because we use the car for work, so we work at the same place. What's your deal? What's wrong with you? She hesitates, stutters, trying to tell her lies. So I was just like, I'm okay, okay. So I was just like, I'm just gonna let this go. So we return the car again. We are carless, struggling again. So I'm just like, it's whatever. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm not gonna be phased by it. And so again, we struggle for a little bit. We end up getting a different car for less at a whack ass dealership. And we kind of drove that around for like a little bit. Literally drove that around for like a little bit. And then this one night, me, and Zayn were chilling. And there was like drunk as shit. And I ended up, they fell asleep before me. And mind you, I was drunk. They were playing a song on the phone. Like, they were using the speaker and the phone was on YouTube. They were asleep, so I took the phone to change the song. And then when I took the phone, mind you, the phone belongs to Zayn. So when I took the phone, the messenger was like just at the top. And I was like, I was so skeptical about whether or not to open the messages or don't, but I did. Intrusive thoughts won, so I did. I was like, I wonder what they be up to. Curiosity killed a cat. Anyways, I go through their messages, and it's just a bunch of messages of Elle basically talking bad about me. Them two just saying that I was into Zayn, or I was looking at Zayn differently, and I was like, okay. I kept reading further, and it was like Zayn telling him, "Don't get a car with Nina." I was like, okay then. Kept reading further, just a bunch of messages of them not wanting to be around me. And I'm like, well then, okay. That's interesting. I did not know I was not liked. So I put the phone down, call it a day. I was like, I'm going to sleep. And I feel like this is the night they're probably like, oh, Nina fell asleep with the pregnancy test, I guess. I don't recall holding a pregnancy test at all, but somehow, some way, that's what they said I did, and I don't remember that. I only had their phone. That's it. And I said nothing. I said nothing. I let it go. But later on, eventually, I was so curious to why she was talking shit on Messenger to her man. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to just ask anyways, because how bad can it be? We're friends. You tell your friends the truth. You just speak the truth. So my weird ass being nervous and stuff, I just end up saying, hey, let me talk to you. And I tell her, hey, why did you say this is not on Messenger? She was trying to deny it so bad. They both wanted to deny that they didn't say anything, but the proof was there. So I got a half-ass apology for all that stuff, and I just kind of dropped it after that. But Zayn was still mad about it. Till this day, Zayn is mad that I read it. Next time, close your phone. And also, if you don't like somebody, why the hell are you around them? That's some weird shit. But I also end up telling. I also like to add the way Elle was acting around the house, like cooking wise, cleaning wise, like bathing. Like, Elle was terrible at those things. And bless her heart. I'm wrong for even mentioning that. My bad. My apologies. But it plays a part. I had told her a woman should always be on top of her, what's the word? Hygiene. Like, if you're depressed and you skip 3 days, I don't care. But to skip a month, maybe two, that's a bit much. And I ended up telling what's his name? Zayn. I told Zayn you and Elle would not work out. Matter of fact, you and her shouldn't be together because they was toxic as hell. They fought a lot. A lot of times Zayn said that he would come and shoot up my crib because of Elle. Because Elle was always messing with his head. But then again, whenever I said something, I was a bad guy. So I was like, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. So their toxicity kept continuing. And then I told Elle specifically, you should not be with him. And the reason I don't want you to be with him is because he's toxic and he has put his hands on you, and that's not right. Just let him go. Also, I added, when you were not looking, your man did put his hand on my butt. One. And that's it. Like, why would you want to be with somebody that's so comfortable touching up on your friend? Oh, okay, but you're in love with him though. But anyways, again, I looked at him and I was like, okay, I guess y'all do you. And then skip forward. There was a time where I was into this one Caucasian man. Don't know why, but yeah, I was messing with him for a little bit. And I don't know, there's certain things I was doing that I just kind of there was a bit off. One, Elle said that she knew him years ago, met him, spoke to him, etc. That's how she was introducing herself. And then this boy ends up saying one day, out of nowhere, like, he was like, remember when you said that me and you met when we were younger? He said, I don't remember you, and I never lived at that place. Even though the first time she told the story, he was like, yeah. I was there, and then he ends up saying, actually no, I was not there. I don't remember that story. I don't know what you're talking about. So she was like, I think it was asked why he even said yes to begin with. He said, I don't know. I just like he wasn't. I guess for the fun of it, you know what I mean, just to keep the conversation going. That's why he said it. Caucasian people sometimes can be. I don't know. The idea of a fun conversation is to do the most, so that's what he did. Another incident where after Elle and Zayn had fought, meaning physical, and I watched that. So she started it. She put her hands on him, and he definitely put his hands on her. I do not agree with men putting their hands on women. I'm a big advocate for that. And I told her, this is it. You shouldn't be with him. And her nose bleeding and stuff, and she's crying, and then out of nowhere she's on top of him on the bed, like fighting, but it looks very sexual. So I was confused looking at it. Me and Deja was just looking at them like, huh? Oh yeah, Deja had came back. I forgot to add that. Because me, Elle, and Zayn went to go get her. So me and Deja are looking at Elle doing all these things. Went from them fighting violently to them just grinding on each other, and it was like, huh, we're just confused. Like, first of all, you are hurt. What are you doing? So then we started minding our business. But then they still kind of played off like they were still beefing low key. And then Elle tells me to go pick up my Caucasian sneaky link, and we go get him. And then while my Caucasian sneaky link is there, Zayn is there on my crib, and then Elle does this thing where she play fights with my sneaky link, and it's like, I'm confused. Why are you touching up on him like y'all best friends? Don't do that. But I say nothing. I just look at it. I'm just looking at it like, taking notes in my head like, you're only doing this to just make Zayn jealous, and Zayn knew that. Like, why are you play fighting with this man? But then again, he ain't on it. I'm working on myself. I'm gonna do a lot better. Okay, so for me, I was like, why are you messing with my sneaky link? Like, come on, bro. Like, chill out. But then again, I can't even be mad because I literally was watching the sneaky link just be weird around the crib. So I let him. It's not my business as long as he's not really touching up on somebody that's too close to me. I really don't care. And then after my sneaky link leaves and stuff, guess what? Elle and oh boy, they back to their whole arguments and stuff, and it's like, oh boy, like, when is this gonna stop? I do want to say that we had a lot of good times. I do not want you to think that it was all bad. It was not all bad. A matter of fact, I did have a lot of good times. A lot of good times. It's just that the weirdness was also there. Fast forward, me and Elle and Asia and Zayn end up not really getting along. Mainly because at that time the car was messing up, my job was messed up. So it's like we're trying to rush to get bills paid, even though we don't work. And we did, mainly because I had someone to always ask for help. Like whenever I needed, I had somebody, I had a backup plan. I always had a backup plan. So the altercation was just me telling Elle, like, hey, I'm always trying to pay the bills. Do your part. Because I like to get a job and leave a job, get a job and leave a job. So I was like, hey, do your part. Help us pay the rent. That's it. Like, don't turn it into something else. And then Elle made it seem like I was forcing her to do something she didn't want to do. Like, girl, you live here. The least you could do is try to help out. You know what I mean? But that offended her, I guess. And I'm just like, okay, cool, I guess. Um, Towards the end, like, and mind you, I was having a very hard time trying to get my stuff together. Elle decides that she's gonna leave with her toxic BF to go to her toxic BF mom house. And then me and Deja and this one other girl, which I don't quite mention a lot, but I do not think I'll ever talk about her because I love her. I don't got a beef with her. She's my baby. She's like, she has a special place in my heart. So I don't think I'll ever talk about her. She's not involved in this. I might, maybe it's little bits I might put in, but this one other girl. So me, Deja, this one other girl, and Elle. I guess we get into an altercation. One of the things. Oh, there's this one time. Another reason why, like, Elle just seemed a bit off. This one other time, her BF Zayn was having a hard time with, he was remembering the loss of his child, and he was just very emotional. And then Elle gonna get mad that we're giving Zayn attention and try to make him feel better, and she's gonna stomp into her bedroom and then stay in there, listen to music, all sad. And then me, Deja, and this other girl are so confused. Like, why is she in her room when her man is right here having a breakdown? And then I end up going in there to ask her what was wrong, and she's just like, whenever I'm telling a sad story, he's always trying to tell a sad story, and it's like, what about me? And it's like, me, like, girl, we hear your stories every day. Just this one time he's telling you that the death of his son was on this day. You just can't go make him feel better. But anyways, she was in a different world. So I try to make her feel better, and she ends up coming outside, but not even for the right reasons. She comes outside just to slam the cabinets looking for something, just to end up back in the room. And we all just kind of look at her, and she really pissed off this one other girl who I haven't mentioned yet. And Deja's trying to calm this girl down, like, hey, just let it be, let it be, let it be. And mind you, this girl is just like so angry with Elle. Like, she was like, I'm gonna fight her. I'm gonna fight her. And I'm just in my crib, like, damn, like, a lot of things be happening here. Like, I cannot fight. I cannot involve myself in nothing. I'm not no girl to be like, catch these hands. I really can't. I'll call the police. So after that incident, something else happens where I think back to while we were struggling to pay rent, Elle ends up trying to move out, and she doesn't even tell me that she moves out. She just kind of packs, and she started taking her things out of the house slowly. We noticed like the house was just coming a little emptier, and then Deja was like, you do realize that Elle is trying to sneak out before she pays rent, right? And I'm like, huh? She was like, just pay attention to what's happening. Like, she's barely here anymore, and when she comes, she takes something. She's trying to leave without you noticing. And I was like, that's her choice. You know what I mean? Was I offended? Yeah, I was. Like, why are you sneaking out? You could just said you're leaving. The hell? No one's holding a gun to your head telling you, hey, you should, it's a must, you stay here. No one was doing that. So I never really understood why she was sneaking out. And I feel like maybe she was sneaking out because everybody was against her and Zayn's relationship. It was terrible. I mean, terrible is terrible. You don't... I feel like if anyone was wearing glasses, they could still see them fists flying over. Like, come on. So when Elle and Deja got into this humongous beef before she had left. It was like right before Deja's man ends up coming back to Omaha. They end up having a beef, and it's like, of course, I gotta choose Deja's side because Deja is family. Because at this point, Elle could do what she wants. I'm not kicking her out, but she doesn't want to be here. Then don't be here. The fuck. If you don't want to pay rent, okay, then the fuck. We'll figure it out. The fuck. So I just let Elle do whatever she wants, but Deja was not having that. Deja was like, no, she's not gonna go. We're not gonna let her leave peacefully. Ain't no way. She did too much wrong for us to just let her walk away like that. So Deja and this other girl, it's not funny. Deja and this other girl end up taking some of Elle's things and hiding them. It's not funny. I want to laugh, but it's not funny. I did feel bad when they were doing this. I felt extremely bad, and I was just like, I kind of was like low key in a very soft voice, like, um, don't take that, leave that. You guys like don't do too much. But the way these two girls were like not having it with Elle, um, I was probably a villain because I was not doing anything about it. Like I tried. Like I was very soft spoken back then. Like very soft spoken. Didn't want to involve myself in too much. And um, I told Elle like just come get your things because the girls told her if you ever come here, it's on site. And I ended up telling Elle, well, if you feel like they might get at you, but I didn't think they would really do anything to her. She just needed to come and take the rest of her stuff. Like, you're taking too long. Just come grab all of them. And these two girls literally packed everything for her and just kind of like threw it out by the door, by the living room, and they just like, just come get it. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. Um, I was just watching all that take place. So I just end up telling Elle, no one's going to lay a hand on you. And if you feel like maybe someone would, have a police escort you and come get your things. And that's exactly what she did. She called the police. She got an escort. She got her stuff. Some of the things she couldn't find, I did not say nothing. Even though I knew what happened, I didn't say anything. It's none of my business. Police are here. We're not going to argue or start something. So I say absolutely nothing. I'm just looking at her take her stuff. Again, I say nothing. And one of her wigs, or two of them, were missing. I'm not sure. But still, I said nothing. Like, I'm not saying anything. These girls are going to think I'm against them. I'm not saying anything. You chose to leave. I have nothing else to say or do for you. Yeah, that's how I felt. I said nothing. And what else happened? So she gets in an argument with one of the girls. I think it was Deja, maybe the other girl. I don't know. Maybe it was both of them. But she's just in the house grabbing some of her stuff, getting into an argument with the girl. And she was, I think one of the girls had a warrant. I think that's it. She was what Elle was doing was trying to threaten Deja to tell the police that Deja had a warrant. That's what she wanted to do. That's what Elle wanted to do. Elle was so foul, that raggedy bitch. Anyways, that's what she wanted to do. And Deja was like, do it. Like, she really didn't care. Deja is a savage. But she's a very broken savage. But she's savage for a lot, she's a good savage. Anyways, the police end up telling Elle, hey, like, hurry up. We came here to help you get your stuff, get what you need, and get gone. Like, get gone. And Zayn comes to help her get her stuff. And we're just looking at them getting their things. And the police is just not having it. They was like, just get your things, let's go. You say you just want escort to get your things, get them, go. Like, why are you taking too long? Why are you making arguments? Go. So Deja takes her stuff. Mind you, I don't really talk to her. I guess she was looking for something else and she spoke to me and I said, I don't know. And then yeah, she took her things and she left. Her and Zayn, two lovebirds. Toxic. The toxicity. You could just But anyways, they leave because they feel uncomfortable at the home. They feel like we was doing too much, although they was the ones doing too much. The thing is, in my opinion, is they didn't like us because we would pinpoint their issues. We weren't letting things slide. Like, y'all's not gonna play us right in our face when we know there's a huge problem with you guys. Especially how Deja was staying over and Deja and Zayn knew each other. Elle wasn't really having that at all. So lovely. I lived a very pretty life, terrible. So when Elle left, I told her, please, just because we're not friends does not mean you should be talking about me. Because I knew how Elle was. Elle likes to throw shade and make a lot of shit up just for the benefit. And I told Elle, if you ever speak on my name, because I knew Elle knew some things about me, and I'm not talking about, they weren't really bad. I just don't want no one knowing my private life. My private life is not something I want the internet to know. And it's not even something bad. It's just, it's something I do not want to talk about. I just don't want to be on the internet. You know what I mean? It's not bad. It's just, I don't want no one to know who I hooked up with. I don't want no one to know my address. I don't want no one to know who my friends are. My private life is private. So I have to continue with Elle because Elle is very problematic. I will come back. Deuces.